It's my birthday, and I thought for this year I could make my own cake because I have been successfully brainwashed by the public school system to believe that I can do anything I put my mind to. First thing I grabbed for this project was a really big bowl, and then I melted some butter. While that was in the radiation box, I started cracking some eggs. Weird fact about me, I used to love eggs as a kid. I used to draw little faces on them and pretend they were my children. And then, of course, I would get attached to them, and then I would try to hide them in the back of the fridge. It didn't work. They were always found. Um, but they did make a delicious breakfast, not gonna lie. I also added 1 cup of milk, which really started to make me panic because the milk wasn't disappearing no matter how fast I spit my arm. I may have messed up. Maybe I mix it out. You said 1 cup of milk. I did eventually get it looking what I guess is normal, a very pudding type consistency. I guess keeping a bottle of lotion by your bed does help you later in life. I'm kidding. I mean, I do keep lotion right next to my bed, but it's not for anything like nasty. It's mainly because sometimes in the middle of the night my sheets make me feel like my skin is on fire, so I have to viciously lotion myself down at 3 a.m. You know, I've never been on a slippery slide despite being in places that had one. I never got on it. Mainly because I was scared that I was not slippery enough. So I think next summer my goal is that I'm going to lotion myself head to toe and go on one. And then I can finally move on and stop haunting this mortal realm. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So I can have some unfinished business and come back as a ghost. What if in the show Ghost Whisperer, she came across the ghost and their unfinished business was I've never been on a slippery slide? How would she fix that? Okay, so while I was yapping about my master plan to become the first ever Spider-Man ghost, not because I am Spider-Man, but because I'm going to be buried in a Spider-Man costume. Although I'm not sure if ghosts come back wearing what they were buried in, or they come back wearing what they died in. Which I think that means that I need to be wearing a Spider-Man costume everywhere I go. But I don't know really how to work out the logistics of that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. I put the dish in the oven, and now I'm starting to work on the icing that I am actually making from scratch. But am I really making it from scratch? I didn't harvest the whipping milk that I'm using. Speaking of whipping milk, watch me taste it. What does this taste like? The, bad, bad. No. I color the icing with the essence of the whipping cow. Oh, wow, that sounds really gross. That's not what I meant. My goodness, this has been a very mine in the gutter video. I meant it's blood. I'm using the blood to color the icing red. YouTube, if you're listening, that was a joke. I'm just using store-bought food coloring. Or am I? I'm kidding. Although I do live next to a cow farm, which I gotta tell you, living next to a cow farm is not as fun as one would think. I mean, kinda. I mean, it is funny to, hear a random moo within your house, but, okay, actually, I can't think of any other negatives of living next to a cow farm. This is a cow farm. There gonna be cows outside. I actually was really worried that the icing was not gonna turn out okay because I ran out of non-salted butter, and the instructions did say that if I use salted butter, they are at liberty to break my kneecaps. But it did turn out okay. What I really needed to worry about was making sure my cat didn't ingest any icing. What I'm saying is that if your cat ingests icing, particularly black icing, their poop will be green. Very gross. Suspiciously, the amount of time it took me to make 3 bowls of icing was the exact amount of time for the cake to be done in the oven. How do I check if it's done? How do I check if it's done? There's a toothpick, but I don't have toothpicks. I don't have any toothpicks. Can I use a chopstick? I let it sit for 10 minutes without and then I take no shit. Okay, it's kind of concaving in the middle. Is that normal? Should I like actually put it right here? Okay, so the cake's not done baking. The cake is actually not done baking. The cake did eventually get done baking, and after I let it cool for 2 hours. Also, when I took it out, I realized that the cake was quite small, which is okay. We love a short king. You can do a lot with 2 inches. I did consider baking another one to make it 2 layers, but like that's a lot of work. And I ran out of butter at that point. I also was thinking that that might be too much cake for me because like 2 days earlier was my mom's birthday and we had cake. And this Friday, I'm going to a birthday party where I assume is going to have cake. And that's just like a lot for someone who gets sick after eating one chocolate chip cookie. But don't get it twisted. The reason is just pure laziness. When I started icing the cake, that's when I ran into a little problem. So when I was making the icing, I put it directly in the fridge right after and didn't take it out until the cake was done cooling. So essentially, it's been in the fridge for 2 hours. And it became very hard, just like your mom last night. But don't worry, I came up with a genius solution. I put a little bit of icing in a glass bowl, and then I put it in the microwave. I melted it and then drizzled it on top of the cake. I will be expecting my Nobel Prize in the mail by the end of the week. I spread the icing all around to make sure it was fully covered, and then I immediately put it in the fridge because I'm doing something called a crumble coat. I really wanted this cake to have like a professional touch to it. I really hope the TikTok bakers don't get mad at me, but I'm making my own heart cake. Completely out of frame, if I may add. At first, I was really nervous about this part, but then I watched like 2 30-second videos about how to turn a circle cake into a heart cake. So, I was pretty much a professional baker at that point. I got the inspiration for the design by typing in Spider-Man heart cake on Pinterest. So, it's not the most unique thing in the world, but I do not care because I had so much fun decorating this cake. Oh, that is... This is so freaking cool. When I was doing the ruffle, I think it started out really good. And then it kind of just withered away. So I don't know if it got too hot or I wasn't using the right technique. Or maybe like a mix of both. Also, because I have never used a piping bag before, I really thought tying the ends was just a suggestion. I learned that that was wrong. Perfect ruffle or not. Oh, you son of a bitch. You are nothing but a little bitch. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, gravity. I wrote out my lettering very neatly, if I may add, and I spelled out, I'm feeling 22, which I know has nothing to do with Spider-Man, but I feel like it's one of those things you can only put on your cake once in your life. Because, well, that's how time works. You're never going to turn 22 again. Well, unless you get sucked through a, like, wormhole and you travel back in time. Well, actually, then you would actually not turn 22 again. Well, unless you are teleported into your younger self's mind. So I guess there is a way that you will be able to spell out I'm feeling 22 on your birthday cake again. But only if that happens. I think the video is over. Happy birthday, dear Olivia. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Spider Terrific!